Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, 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 and hello on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah. Thank you for joining in. We've always counted on your support to always tune in at this time, and we appreciate that. So thank you for joining in. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Hello.
Good to see you all. I'm quite excited today, actually. Well, I think I say that all the time, but I am quite excited.
Why the topic?
Yeah, the topic. Yes, I think it's going to be quite an exciting conversation to have. Okay. You know, and it'll be good to have you guys engage in the conversation. Hi, Ajibola.
Hello.
Yeah. Good to see you all. Okay. Right, Fumi, do you want to?
Okay, so today we're talking about prenups. So prenuptial agreements. Yeah. So would you have one? Would you sign one?
Yeah.
Let us know. So I'm just going to paint a scenario. Yeah. So
hold on. Let's hear from them first. Would you sign one? If you're asked to, so would you have signed one? And yes or no?
Would you have signed a prenup? Let's say, so you were in a relationship which was leading towards marriage, and your fiance or fiance said that, I think we should sign a prenuptial agreement. What would you say? Would you sign it?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Yes, no, or thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm sure Manny would have signed one.
Lisa, would you have signed one? Never.
Okay.
Everyone else, would you have signed? So your future spouse, yeah? So you're looking at this person, you're thinking, wow.
Okay, lockdown life said,
yeah. Would you sign one?
Okay, I never signed one, but I believe in it. Okay, good. Never. Okay.
On YouTube as well, would you have signed, if you're already married, a prenup?
Yeah, okay. I'm having a covenant, not a contract. Okay.
If it's to me along.
but money, I thought you had your Aliberry at home.
Not.
Okay.
Neither would Manny, or else we wouldn't have gotten married.
No, listen, Manny has spoken for himself.
Yeah, he said if you were near along, he would have signed it. So the question is, for those that are just joining, let's say this is, you're in a relationship, engaged, leading towards marriage, and the person that you're meeting, you're in a relationship with, says, I think we should sign a prenuptial agreement. Would you sign it? Yes or no?
Lisa, no. I can't have him in my house. Sorry.
Manny's got to move. He's got to come here for dinner.
Yeah, I can't have him in my house. Sorry. Right. Yeah, Kunle Walu, would you have signed one? Right.
So if we only got we've got two yeses.
Yeah.
And everyone else is no.
Okay. Queen B, would you have signed a prenup?
Would you sign, or would you have signed a prenuptial agreement? Yes or no?
Okay. The scenario then.
Okay, so my scenario. So let's say this is the scenario, yeah? So Manny kind of played into it, which is, let's say that the person is rich, has a lot of assets. So let's say they have like 3 million pounds worth of assets, yeah?
And this is someone's scenario, right?
This is someone's scenario. So 3 million pounds worth of assets, and the other partner hasn't got any assets, but is earning quite a lot. Let's say he's earning like, I don't know, 80K, 100K or whatever, yeah? So they're coming, they're in a relationship, looking towards marriage, and so they're thinking, the person that has the more assets is then asking, should they have a prenup? What do you think?
Yeah, thoughts, please. Faith, you didn't even listen to the scenario. You didn't hear.
Still no for you.
You didn't hear all of it.
So one partner has a lot of assets, £3 million worth of assets. The other partner has no assets, has a good income. So would that change your mind about signing a prenup? So, like we know that there are many people that have a lot of income, a lot of wealth.
Yeah.
And, we hear about divorces and the trauma caused by the division of assets and so on. So to avoid that, should they have signed a prenup?
Okay.
It doesn't make a difference.
Okay. So let's turn it around now, right? So what if you were the one that had all the money?
So you, whether you're female or male, yeah? So you have £3 million worth of asset. Let's say you've got property, you've got, I don't know, shares, you've got lots of investments, and then the guy has no assets, but has a good income. Would that change your mind? No, if you have married the same person, it shouldn't make a difference.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Would that change your mind if it was if you were the one that had most of the income, you had a lot of income?
Okay. All right.
I would have asked God if he was the one for me before marriage.
Okay.
Puts doubt on the relationship. No for you. Okay. No. Okay. Let's say the scenario. Yeah. Let's say so. The same scenario. Yeah. So one of the partners has a lot of wealth, income. Yeah. The other partner hasn't, but this is their second marriage. Yeah. They have children from their first marriage. Would that change your mind? Yeah. So one of the partners, let's say it's a lady. Yeah. So the lady has a lot of assets, 3 million assets from her first marriage. She has children, and then she's thinking about getting married again, second marriage. Then would you say that it changes your mind about whether she should have a prenup or not?
Yeah. And if you're on YouTube, please, your thoughts are welcome as well. Okay. Well, that's yeah. Okay. I mean, clearly, this view or this view is actually I won't be married. Okay. Well, it's interesting actually. Do you know, for me before now, I mean, and I think we've given a whole lot of thoughts to this conversation. It's one of those ones where I really had to take a view, thought deeply about it. I was actually having a chat with a friend. I won't name names. Yeah, and earlier in the week we were having this chat, and she said to me that if she was marrying, she was going to marry a guy that she was dating at the time, she would have taken out prenup, because I mean she's quite comfortable, doing okay, and all that. But then the guy she ended up marrying, she didn't take out prenup, and I thought to myself, okay, that's interesting. What changed? Why the difference? I think that's where this conversation really has to. That's why it's very important. Because the thing is, we no, the viewers don't want to know who. Yeah.
Someone said that you should name the name.
Yeah. But the viewers don't really care about the name. I think it's the story that is more important. Now, temporary arrangement. Yeah. Okay. Right. Anyway, so when we're thinking about this, right, and like I said, given that scenario, we then thought of something that happened before we got married. I mean, a lot of you guys will be familiar with arranged marriages and stuff like that, or people not arranged, or people getting married. So the guy sham marriage, pretty much. So people getting married for the wrong reasons. Yeah. The guy or the lady needs papers and then gets married, and then of course they get the paper and then they all of a sudden fall out of love. And I remember at the time, Fumi's dad was, I mean, he asked her whether I had papers, whether I was sure, whether she was sure that this wasn't meant to be, some sort of arranged marriage thing, and you also said yourself that, I mean, it was obviously on your mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, so as someone that has a British passport, when I was single, it was something that I had to exclude. You know, you think about, you want to exclude people that are after you for what they can get, as opposed to people that are after you for your relationship. And so it's very so it was something that I was mindful of. So if someone approached me who didn't have papers or didn't have permanent residence or whatever,
yeah,
I'm weary to a certain degree,
yeah,
you know, and it's about trying to understand and really distill if there's a genuine desire,
yeah,
or if it is just about the papers.
yeah.
And so I can imagine for someone who has a lot of wealth, that too is something that they're trying to understand. You know, is the person coming after me
yeah,
because of my wealth?
Yeah.
Or
you see, sorry, yeah. It's interesting though that someone that said no for prenup says yes. Says they would consider it for stay.
consider what?
As in going into some sort of, as in to
Agreement.
to exclude that. Right. So, but I think the principle is the same though.
Yeah.
The principle is the same. Thank God that I was in that situation. I was in that situation when I met my wife, you know. But the thing is, that is the reality of it. And I mean, if we put ourselves in that sort of scenario, right? Because at times it's difficult to think about these things unless you're the one that has the money. You know, so and by the way, we are not even saying that we support it or we don't support it. We're just putting it out there because that's the reality of it. I've known marriages break up because the guy went in it knowing fully well that he didn't really love the lady, but she didn't know she had fallen head over heels. He was in love with this person, but then he got his paper and then he's moved on. So I think the principle is very similar. Now, but I mean, so in my conversation with this friend of mine, I want already established that it was an issue of trust, right? Now it was not a case of, okay, well, if it was an issue of trust, why would you even consider marrying someone that you don't believe that you can trust?
Yeah.
But then again, you don't develop or build trust in a day, do you? I mean, it's over time, and whilst leading up to the marriage, trust is still being built. Yeah. So then she then later on gave another example of a friend who she said wasn't an issue of trust, but it was more of a case of, well, she felt that she should have it because in her own background, she's had some disappointments and she just wanted to just protect herself, not so much about any other person. But I still put that down to trust, you know? So having said that, I mean, given the example that we gave now, would that have changed anything? So that's the question we're asking. Given the example of the passport that we use now, would it have changed anything? If you have children now, right, would you ask them to consider that? Because one of the other points that people that sign prenup, one of the things about it is the fact that at times the wealth is family wealth.
Yeah, inheritance.
Is inheritance, right? So if you marry, if a person is marrying into a family that has a lot of wealth. Now, if they're marrying into a family that has a lot of wealth, I mean, how would the family members react to that? I'm still not saying I'm for it. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm just putting it out there. And I'm going to bring, as you know, as always, we would bring a Christian perspective to this. Now, someone said, I reject it, obviously. What do you reject?
The prenup. So the prenup, so my understanding of the prenup is that it's about what the division of assets, especially assets that are brought into the marriage or that exist before the marriage happens, and any inheritance. And also it can include any debts that each partner has before they actually go into the marriage. During the marriage, anything that is kind of made during the marriage is split differently, and also the what goes to the children is not featured in the prenup. So it's not necessarily about protecting the assets that are made during the marriage, but coming into the marriage, protecting it in that sense, or agreeing what it should, how it should be divided or not divided.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have some other points that you're going to make before I actually give one or two thoughts? I mean, because clearly, right, once you're getting yourself ready, clearly, prenup is not in scripture. You know, so if it's not in scripture, then I mean, things that are excluded in scripture, God wants us to judge and use our wisdom to deal with it. You know, so I don't believe it is sin. Right? Yeah, I don't believe it is sin, but I think that it's a reflection of deeper underlying issues. You know.
So like someone said about debt. Would you change? Would it sway you if it was about debt? So let's say one of the your potential spouse has like 100K worth of debt, credit card debt. Yeah. Would you then, and you have wealth, would you then consider, signing a prenup? Would that change your mind? Would you be a bit wary about that?
Okay, but you want to read that out because of the people on YouTube.
Okay, so someone said that I'm of the view that when we get married, what you have and what I have become ours.
Okay, so if someone came in with 100K debt, and then you came in with with £500,000 sort of investments and cash in the bank, so you would agree with that, okay?
So this person, I'm sure you said that you were not for prenups, but with debt, you're for prenups.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's the thing. It's not. I mean, so we see that some views are changing depending on the scenario. You know, why not work on the debt? Well, how many years would it take you to clear 100K debt? I mean, you know.
A reflection of deeper underlying issues. Yes. So their debt affects your debt. So why not pay off their debt with your wealth?
Anyway, well, request to see is
someone said their request to see his or her payment plans, but that's not a bad idea, because if you think about it, if they're bringing in that much debt into the relationship at the beginning, you probably want to question where the debt came from.
Yeah, I mean, when we got married, now
you had debt.
I had some debt, but it was just maybe a few £1,000 sort of debt,
not 100K.
No. But thank God she married me now. See, things have changed. Things have turned over. Anyway, right. So, were you gonna?
Okay. No. Do you want to go and
right? So that as I thought and reflected on this, what came to mind is the fact that in Matthew chapter 19 verse 8, Jesus Christ was asked a question. Was asked about divorce, because the truth is you can't actually have in 21st century in our modern day society now, you can't be serious about getting married and not put the conversation about your position on divorce on the table, right? You need to talk about it. In my own place, so it's not even an option. The other person might be like, okay, well, if things don't work out, it's on the table, So, and I don't think you can have a conversation about divorce, particularly if there's already wealth involved, without having a conversation about prenup. I think that also has to be on the table, right? But then, so similarly, Jesus Christ was asked about divorce. And what did he say? He said to them, Jesus replied, Moses permitted divorce only as a concession to your hard hearts or to your hardened heart, but it was not what God had originally intended, right? So when I think about this scripture, what comes to mind for me is the fact that prenup, like divorce, is a man-made concept to deal with the complexities of our hardened heart, right? God never ordained for us to consider divorce, like Jesus Christ said here, because marriage is a divine concept. It's not a man-made idea. It wasn't man that said it's not good for a man to be alone. Let's make a helpmate for him. It wasn't Adam that was thinking about that. It was God that was thinking about it. So if it was God's idea, then right, it then means that if as Christians we're going to build according to God's idea, then we have to return to that beginning. But of course, when you think about the complexities of the relationships, really the state of our hearts, as it were, you can't exclude the notion of divorce or prenup from the conversation. And I said to my wife that, like I said earlier on, I think it's an issue of trust. No matter how you look at it, it's if trust was not even a construct, if it was not there, you wouldn't be thinking. If you were living, in a foreign land, let's say you were living in outer space or whatever, and you were never exposed to people, going into these things for the money and all that, it would be totally foreign to you to even consider it. But it happens all the time. People do it, and we know if people go as far as killing the other person just to get their wealth, So then we must consider it. Now, what I then said to my wife is that, interestingly, and I want to get your view on this. So my friend, again, when having this conversation with her yesterday, it's part 2 of our conversation, she asked me a question. She said to me, if my wife had asked for prenup at the time, would I have signed it? Well, not that it would have mattered at that time because we didn't have anything, right?
Speak for yourself.
Well, you did, unless you were hiding some things that I didn't know about. But you didn't really have anything, I mean, yeah. So we didn't really have anything to tie ourselves in legal wrangles about. Anyway, but I said to my friend that I wouldn't have signed it, and I really wouldn't have signed it because for me, it would have been me preempting the notion of the possibility of breakup. For me, marriage was never something that I would consider personally in that way. So if she's of that mindset already, for me, it's a wrong foundation upon which to build personally. But then I then said to her, and this is where it changes. This is where the views at times looks conflicted or whatever. I said to her that I would, if we're getting married now, and she had a whole lot more money,
lots of money,
yeah, that I would tell her to get prenup, right? So it would be my own idea for her to get prenup, right? So that at least the issue of trust or me coming after money, that one is settled before we get married, is out of the way. So she's not second guessing my thoughts or my ideas or what I think about, or if I'm saying let's do business together, she's not thinking, oh, is he trying to get my money or whatever. I would make sure that she gets it so that at least that issue is dealt with. Right now, and I think for me that would be my position. But if it came from her though, I would be worried because I didn't come to you for money. I mean, that's not my heart, that's not my intention. But me telling you to do it is so that to put your mind at rest that, look, I'm not after your money. So I would like to get your thoughts on it, on my view. Right?
How about see, I think that's is that pride then? Because so whether I was talking about like the situation with papers or whatever, as someone who has a British passport, if I was dating someone that didn't, let's say it's a question, it will be a question in my mind, yeah? If the guy is approaching me and he hasn't got a British passport or whatever, I would be questioning, I want to know his true intentions, yeah? And that will be a question on my mind, yeah? And I guess that's a bit difficult because had you asked someone, are you with me just for papers? Obviously, they're not going to say yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I see. I would make sure, right? If someone wants to marry my daughter now, we have to ask that question.
No, I get that, but you ask that question. But if they are really, if that's their intention, they're not going to say yes.
Yeah, no, but that one is easy because you know that you either have paper or you don't have paper.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. So, but for the wealth question, if I have a lot of wealth, and a guy comes or whatever, and that guy doesn't, it would be a question on my mind as to is he truly for me, for who I am, or is he trying to get my money? And and like, so Faith, you said you can ask the question, but the question is, will they give you the true answer to that question?
And that's why I said that, because I know it would be playing on the lady's mind. It would definitely be playing on the lady's mind. Let's not kid ourselves. It would be on the lady's mind. I mean, she has a lot of money and you really don't have anything. So it will be one of those elephants in the room where you just, you know what, you're not talking about it, but we know it's there. So let's just talk about it so that we take away the distraction and focus on building this relationship.
No, but I think the money one, because you're saying that we should talk about it, but the guy or the person that's not earning as much should be the one to say, let's sign a prenup.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
But I feel that it's okay for the person that has more wealth to actually, I mean, is it wrong to bring it up in a conversation so that you can at least put that one to the side, get that resolved, and you know that question is answered, you know, and then you can just focus on the relationship or what?
Yeah, but I think it's from a guy's point of view, right? Particularly for a guy that wants to just have a real sincere relationship here, it would come out wrong, no matter how well you put it.
Yeah,
it will come out wrong, coming from the lady. You know, I mean, so guys, what do you think? So let's hear from the guys now, right? I mean, can there be a nice way?
Sign and let's love in peace.
So I want the guys to respond, please. Can there be a nice way of asking that question without you feeling that this is really about trust? Because that's what it is about.
Yes, but it is about trust. Yes. But even in the passport situation, it's about trust as well.
Of course. So so in principle, what I'm saying is that the conversation needs to be had, but for me, it's about how you have it and who sort of initiates that conversation.
But what if the guy doesn't initiate the conversation?
So guys, please, let's hear what you have to say.
It's always good to be transparent. If you have wealth, it's not sin to want to protect it. Yeah. Oh, that is sexist. Someone said that sexist. Over dinner passport. You don't want to reveal. It's financial insurance. So yes, so you know, like I was looking at some of the reasons people give for doing a prenup, and you know, like, so we're talking about it and we're looking at it from a Christian perspective.
Yeah.
And there are actually Christians that are happy with prenups, perhaps in certain instances, whilst they do feel that it is against. It doesn't necessarily line up fully with the biblical perspective of the two becoming one, but they feel that, especially for people with a high net wealth, it's a way to kind of just remove that question, because there are other people. Sometimes there are other people involved. Like, you know, if people around you know that your future partner or whatever has a lot of money, it may bring certain pressures, certain questions in as well into the equation.
Yeah. Now, so if it's about, I mean, it's still good to hear what the guys are saying. I mean, Manuel said earlier on that, you know, that it will be awkward for the lady who has more to bring up the conversation. Even if I had more money than my partner, it would be awkward for me to ask that question, even though it's on my mind.
I get it. I do get it.
Yeah, you know, it would be very awkward for me to ask her to do that, because the reality is I love her genuinely, but that has to be dealt with.
But the thing is, I think the conversation has to be had. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how do you have that conversation if the person, maybe you get a third party to come and ask the question?
Maybe counseling.
Counseling, yes. Premarital
counseling.
guidance, yes.
Yeah. You know, because it is definitely something important to actually have. Now, the other question then is this: regarding the passport, it should be part of your future plan. Yeah, like that's what you plan.
Like, what's your plan regarding your passport? It's fine for a woman to ask, or even a better, a guy. No, I think for the passport thing, it's fine to ask, yeah. But if someone is truly after your passport, you're not going to get a genuine answer.
No, that one is very easy. Honestly, I think that's very easy. You know, that is a very direct. Well, maybe because I'm a guy or whatever it is. It's not, I'm not just going to ask the question. I'll ask the person to bring their passport.
No, but even if they no, so they don't have. You know, they don't have. Yeah. And the question is, how are they going to sort that out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are they looking to sort it out, or are they looking at you to help them sort it out?
Yeah. Very true. In fact, you know, we know someone in that scenario, and he said to me that he wouldn't actually get into a relationship. You know, I don't know that I would do that though. That he said he won't get into a relationship if his own passport, whatever, is not resolved. And this could take forever. It could take many years, you know. And I'm thinking, but then how are you going to address this?
No, but I think there's I don't know. You can have a conversation. You are the solution. Someone said, passport problem is straightforward. You are the solution.
Yeah. Okay, but let's not digress really. But even though it speaks to the the trust issue, right? You know, but I think the passport one, I personally think it's different. And for me, if I can't see the woman as someone that I can build trust with, then for me, that's not someone that I can marry.
But the part of building trust is it takes time, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's through I mean, I guess that's why time is important.
Yes.
And maybe having the conversation, because I guess the other thing is, how do you even say to the other person, oh, I've got all these houses, I've got all these investments, you know, to actually have that conversation is about sharing, sharing your heart, sharing your assets, and there's some trust there in actually revealing that in the first place.
Yeah.
Let alone talking about prenup or trying to weed out a potential gold digger. Yeah.
So I think I mean, clearly in terms of the solution here, I don't know that what I think we can agree on is that conversation needs to be had. You know, and the reason why we're actually having it now is because somehow, like my friend said to me, in certain churches, we shut it down. We don't want to have those conversations, but people are thinking about it. So those conversations definitely need to be had, right? So, to my mind, if I'm sitting with young guys, which I often do, right? If they are in the position of the lesser. The less
income, or less
assets, or lesser assets. I would get them to preempt that whatever and be proactive about it, right? That's what I would do. Now, and if I'm in a counseling situation, you know, with a couple, I would ask them whether they've considered prenup, particularly if their scenario is similar. You know, because I think that it definitely needs to be, and it might just be the help they need in getting the conversation out there. Because it's like you said, it's easier coming from a third party, you know, than them being silent about it. You know, so definitely it's something that needs to be spoken about. You know.
So someone said it's important to be honest about your thoughts, intentions, finances, fears. And someone said it should definitely be part of marital counseling or premarital counseling, just like doing HIV tests, etc. Transparency before marriage.
Yeah. And then someone else here said that prenups are sometimes entered into as a form of building and consolidating wealth between two wealthy families. Well, I can see how that would also, and this is again extended family, right? But I think if two individuals are coming into, I mean, if they're wealth, if they're self-made, or if they own their wealth, the question is, why would you consider that? Now, I don't know whether you actually managed to find anything in terms of how people that have gone into prenups, how it has helped their marriage. Or...
No. But I saw. So actually, did you know that? What is it? Prenup in the UK. Prenups are not. They're not law. I think they're not law, but they are upheld. So the agreements are upheld in certain scenarios, and they're growing in popularity in the UK. In America, it looks like about 5% of marriages have a prenup, and the reason is because obviously the divorce rate is
rising,
is quite high. And we hear about the celebrity divorces and the money that is going here, there, and everywhere. And so people are concerned and want to protect the wealth going into their marriage. But from the Christian point of view, it's about, okay, so how do you balance that wealth side with we believe that marriage is for life, and divorce is not really an option. So how do you...
Well, you see, the thing is, in as much as I mean, divorce, I mean, it's not, we don't preach it, we don't encourage it. The reality and backed by statistics, right? The church, the rate of divorce in the church is at par with the people that are not Christians. So I don't see how we can exclude that conversation of prenup and not address it without dealing with. I mean, at the same time, we're dealing with issue people getting divorced. But I also agree that it is a. Oh, thank God that for me that was never a consideration. But anyway, it is. If you're thinking about it in that way, right? The argument that it's also you're building, it's a recipe for disaster or divorce in the future is also very true. So I think it's getting the balance right and actually having those conversations and during premarital counseling, whatever it's premarital guidance, that those conversations are had. So now, if you're single, obviously, I mean, if you're not yet married now, and I mean, obviously, by definition, prenup means the things that, I mean, it's about settling or reconciling things that you have before marriage. Now, something else occurred to me that what if somebody is not cash rich, because money again is man-made, right? But you look at the person and you just know that this guy is going to be very successful. I mean, in the way
he's rich in his heart.
He's rich in his heart. Not just his vision is big. You have a sit down with some guys or whatever, or ladies.
Like you,
Oh yes, and I'm sure you saw that. Anyway, So you know that the vision is very big. This person is only a matter of time. Can somebody sign a prenup on promise?
No. No, I believe you could sign a prenup on about like businesses, for example, that are set up before marriage and so on. You can actually even do post-nups. This thing is serious. But no, you can't do it on promise.
You can't do it on promise.
No.
Okay. So we're clear though, so that people don't leave this conversation and think, oh yeah, banks and Fumi have said you can go get prenup. That's not what we're saying. But I think all we're just saying is that the conversation has to be had. We should not pretend that it's not there. We should not think that we can pray it away and not just talk about it. If we're gonna have, so we spoke about divorce, and clearly, I mean, we said that this is not even on the table. We're not in this to even consider it. And also, genuinely so, in some relationships, it was never on the table, but it happened. But I think that if at the time that we were getting married, I haven't spoken about divorce, right? Not being on the table. That conversation about prenup as well should also, but again, like we said, there was nothing there, So that is actually where we stand. I don't know whether we've actually answered anybody's questions, or whether you think our view is.
But our view is kind of
neither here nor there.
Yeah, we can understand
when
the
somebody
reasons
says
why people would want a prenup.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody has a prenup, so the point is you don't judge them because they've had a prenup, because you don't know where they're coming from. Would I encourage thinking about the next when my paper has landed and there's a lot of wealth to throw around, would I encourage my daughter to sign prenup? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't encourage her to do that. So but I think that is actually where we stand. So today we're going to wrap up the conversation a little bit earlier.
Yes. So thank you for tuning in. It's been great to have all of your comments today, and for you to share and for you to be open. Some people have said that they do a prenup. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate you all each week.
Manny, go and sort yourself out with Lisa. Yeah.
So all right then. Well, thank you. Take care.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.